2, 3, 4.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, everyone. This is Jewish Talk, coming to you live from Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. We're also streaming on the iHeart and the iTunes apps. This program is later archived on Spreaker.com. So, hi there. Guess what? In case you didn't know, my name is Rabbi Pearl. And yesterday, after I was relaxing after a very busy Shabbos morning at our Chabad house, we had an amazing special Kiddush sponsored by our own Michael Wolf. Hi, Michael. Good morning to you. In memory of your dear father, Lester. An amazing Kiddush. Amazing speech, Michael. Here I was in the afternoon trying to relax, and I thought about the upcoming week and the upcoming highlights. First, I thought about how are we going to survive the Super Bowl distractions. But then I found solace and comfort that we're going to be uplifted by a very special new month that we're about to begin. Because on this coming Tuesday and Wednesday is Rosh Chodesh Adar. Very, very special months. But let's first take each subject in turn. So welcome everyone, those listening to us and those who have joined us on the Facebook Live. Good morning. Let's say hello to everybody who's joined us. Let's make sure I have everybody. Harvey Kipnis, good morning. Jonathan Wolf and Dr. Kilshevsky. John Grishella. Oh, John, how are you doing? Dr. Steve Mark Shaw, just back from a worldwide tour. And to everybody, we're wishing you and thank you so much for joining us. And, of course, the Kilshevskys are in Vermont. There was not enough room in Connecticut. They had to run. And here they are. And everybody, thank you for joining us. So let's take these two subjects. The first, of course, how are we going to get over the big game hangover? Is there life after the Super Bowl? And I'm here to tell you some eye-openers, some very important information. And I have a big smile on my mouth. See, if you're hoping for a quiet day at the office with few people around to interrupt you, tomorrow, Monday, will be perfect. Because the absentee rates generally spike the day after the big game, which is frequently celebrated with Big Bash in millions of homes. Not in my home, but probably in many homes of the good people listening to us. You see what happens on the day after the Super Bowl? There's this big sick out for millions of businesses. More than half of the office may not show up on Monday, the day after Super Bowl. Now, this is the conclusion of a new research that tracks office absences the day after a major sports event. Let me lay it on the line. 61 million Americans plan tonight to attend a Super Bowl party. 44 million Americans plan to host one. And this is all according to the National Retail Federation. Whether it's to see who wins, watch the halftime show, and the commercials, or just to get together, guess what? This is the biggest party since New Year's Eve. Spending is expected to be at the highest level we've ever seen. Now, this may be good news for the retailers, but 42% of the senior managers tell Office Team, this is an organization that tracks people at work, there's going to be so many people who are going to be playing hooky tomorrow after the big event. And as they quote, it's pretty distracting and annoying employee behavior not to show up to work tomorrow. So it seems that 1 in 4 Americans, that's 24%, say that the day after the Super Bowl should be declared a national holiday. Can you imagine? A study into the Super Bowl viewing and the snacking habits of 2,000 Americans as a trial found many of them feel passionately that they should be able to rest up on the day after sporting celebrations. I mean, for me as a rabbi, I think Sunday is the day I take it easy after a long Shabbos. Some people will wake up with a hangover and regret for eating buckets of high-calorie foods. Now, that's because aside from football, food is a star player, as 79% of watchers plan to buy food and have bought food and drinks while they're glued to the screens. And they're, according to the research that I came across, Americans are expected to down more than 1.3 billion chicken wings. You hear? Kim, can you imagine? 1.3 billion chicken wings. And everyone who's eating a chicken wing is planning to give $1 to our charity. Now, they'll likely pair with this will be a few slices of pizza and wash it down with beer. Now, obviously, if you're keeping kosher, please don't mix chicken wings with pizza. So after what the U.S. Department of Agriculture once called the second biggest day for eating in America, tomorrow, Monday, is a time to detox. So I know that you woke up early to listen to my program, and I know the importance of this information. It's very important to you. Take a pen and a paper, or turn on your voice recorders. Here is some nutrition information from experts about what to do after a day of overeating and drinking. First of all, get rid of the leftovers. Those who host a Super Bowl party, which, as I said, is about 44 million people, should send the leftovers home with the guests. Don't let one day of enjoyment turn into 3 days of overindulging. Next, very important. Now, this comes from Dr. Donald Hensrud. He is from the Mayo Clinic Healthy Living Program. He's the editor of Mayo Clinic Diet, and he is a close friend of Dr. Kilshevsky. They know each other from way back. And Dr. Hensrud tells the following, that tomorrow morning, take time to eat a healthy breakfast. Monday after the game isn't the day to skip breakfast. Go for something hearty. Eggs that contain vitamin D, a good source of protein. Take a whole grain carbohydrate, like a whole grain. I hope Mrs. Dorothy Rothstein is taking this information. I know she's very big into all the food that they eat. There's grain, high carbohydrates, like a whole wheat grain bread or a muffin, and throw in some fruit as well. About coffee and juice, let me tell you something. First, drink water, lots of it. Now, you didn't know that Rabbi Pearl knew all about this information, but this is the information I have, and I felt an obligation, a religious obligation, to share with you how to feel tomorrow morning. Avoid citrus juices like orange juice. This is what Dr. Hensrud says. Simple coffee drinks without too much sugar and cream are okay. So I know Sybil now feels much better. That's okay to provide the energy boost that we may need, but might not be the best for everybody because of heartburn. Have some soup for lunch. Go for a brothy vegetable soup for lunch. This will also help you, the digestive system, recover from all that buffalo sauce. And, of course, say yes to whole veggies and fruit. For those who can't see me, I'm smiling from ear to ear. But what's going on over here? You see, what's important? Let me just take a quick look at my Facebook. Joanne Sanders joined us. And let's see, Jonathan Wolf says, oh, my God, we're going to talk about the second month. And Brian Allen, I can't see your mouth. I have to take your word for it. Okay, all right, very good. Hello to Alan Rosenfeld. And I think that Dr. Kilshevsky has come up with the right answer. If instead of watching a game 1 and 4, we should all listen to Rabbi Pearl's program. Now, that's, of course, thank you very much, Dr. Kilshevsky. I will send you the check for those nice, kind words. And, but dear friends, you know, I am smiling because, you see, your Super Bowl party should be more than just television and food. You can actually turn it into a significant gathering with your family and your guests to be able to share meaningful words. Here's a suggestion. Before you sit down to eat tonight, go around with a charity box, preferable to your local Chabad. Just joking. But go around with a charity box and ask everyone. We're sitting here, look around, a big flat screen. We're going to have a great time. What about all those who are hungry and homeless? So please, everybody, if you don't want to embarrass your friends and guests, find some pennies or some quarters and give it to them to put into the charity box so that everybody has a feeling and reminding themselves it's not about ourselves. There's also people who may not have the same comforts that we have. Then, before the game begins, or maybe at halftime, go over, remind each other of lessons of appreciation that we can have for each other, from each other, for what we have, and to thank God that we have food to eat, whatever it may be. So you can go to my Facebook after the program, of course, and I list there lessons in life that we can learn from the Super Bowl to make it more meaningful. And there are many programs out there that you can, at the halftime, where you have famous speakers speak about the lessons, the deeper lessons. You know, because we often refer to the serious side of life with sports terminology. For example, right, we all know I'm in the game of life. Games people play, and even war games. Sports can teach us a lot about the serious side of life. You never know how a football will bounce. Life also throws us curves, unexpected bounces along the way. How often do we react to them? And do we react to the bounces of life properly? Think of this. Let me give you an example. A man gets up in the morning to prepare for a very important business meeting. But everything seems to go wrong. First, he spills his coffee on his shirt at breakfast. He slams the closet door on his fingers. And he has to go and get a new shirt. By the time he grabs his briefcase and rushes to the door, he's lost his temper, yelled at his kids, his wife, and even the dog. Imagine if he had found an envelope in his pillow, addressed to him from the night before. What was in the note? It would read the following: Dear Joe, tomorrow morning, guess what? You're going to spill coffee in your shirt, slam your fingers on the closet door, signed Hashem, signed by God. When all these things happen, will you react in the same negative way, or will you keep in mind that God is testing you? This is how we have to try to face all of life. It isn't a game that we have to win at any cost. Rather, life is a challenge from God, and it's always an opportunity for spiritual growth. And therefore, dear friends, I'm here to tell you, and I'm happy to tell you, that with Hashem's help, I am looking forward to going to work tomorrow. And I'm not planning to play hooky. And even as we have to get over the game, I think, as I was thinking on Shabbos, there's something exciting about to begin. Because Monday, the day after the game, is actually the eve of an amazing, important beginning of a Jewish month. You see, while everybody's worried about the day after the Super Bowl, on the Jewish calendar, there's an importance given to the day after, the day following the 3 pilgrimage holidays: Passover, Shavuos, and Sukkot. They have a special name on the Jewish calendar the day after. It's called Isru Chag. In English, it would be spelled I-S-R-U, Isru Chag. Now, what's that word mean? It literally means bind, Isru Chag, bind the festival, since the day is bound to the holiday. There's something very unique in our calendar the day after these major holidays, as it would indeed be after all major holidays. And you can go through them. The day after Yom Kippur, for example, is an extraordinary, it's called the Day of God's Name. It's an important precursor, 4 days before Shavuos. Before Sukkot. So immediately following Yom Kippur, we right away go into full force of even greater holiness and happiness with the preparation for Sukkot. So what's so unique about these 3 major holidays, the day after? So here we are, all nervous and about the day, the hangovers over the Super Bowl. But in our world, there's something very unique after our holidays. It's called Isru Chag. In fact, it has a festive side to it, the days after the Passover, Shavuos, and Sukkot. It's a day that we add something to our meals and we omit certain supplications. What's the reason for this celebration? So there are many answers given, and I want to share with you how the Hasidic masters share with us how we celebrate the day after. And what is that? The ability to bring holiness into the mundane. After finishing the week of Passover or Shavuos or Sukkot, the day after is not supposed to be a hangover or a downer or a day to run away from the world, but on the contrary. Our Hasidic masters point out that Isru Chag, which is the word to bind we bind ourselves to the holiday is celebrated with special festivities. On the other hand, on the one hand, it's a regular day, regular weekday. But there has to be an afterglow of the holiday. The afterglow of the holiday is to bridge the holiness of the holiday into the mundane, drawing down the spiritual energy and blessings of the holiday into our very everyday lives. So sadly, and of course, a little tongue-in-cheek, the day after the Super Bowl leaves everybody empty. And we have to find ways how to eat and drink and get to work. But in a deeper sense, the day after the holidays, the Jewish holidays of Passover, Shavuos, and Sukkot, is called Isra. We want to bind. We don't want to run away from the holiday. We want to connect and keep that holiness, that glow of the holiday still with us, even after the holiday concludes. Let's say hello to everybody. Hello to Greta. Thank you so much. To Susan Kay. And Susan Kay is not embarrassed to tell everybody we're going to have all kinds of junk food. Thank you very much. Hello to Mr. Howard Eisenstadt. And Dr. Jonathan Wolf is very, very is encouraging everybody before the game begins to make out a nice check to your local charity. Hello to Tom Schwartz. So, dear friends, what are we looking forward to tomorrow? Not so much a hangover from the Super Bowl, but the eve of something extraordinary, important that's about to begin on the Jewish calendar. But it has an impact on all of us. You see, this year we're at an advantage for the Monday, tomorrow, the day after the Super Bowl, because it's the eve of what is known as Rosh Chodesh Adar 1. What do I mean? The word Rosh Chodesh means the beginning of the Jewish month. Adar 1. Let me explain. You see, this year, we actually have 2 months of Adar. In the Jewish calendar is known as a Jewish leap year, Shana Mu'uberet. It's a pregnant year. In the Jewish calendar, when we celebrate a Jewish leap year, Shana Mu'uberet, we add a whole extra month. In the American calendar, a leap year is signified by 1 extra day. I believe it's in February. But this year, in the Jewish calendar, it's a Shana Mu'uberet. It's a leap year. You see, a Jewish leap year occurs 7 times in a 19-year cycle. It has 30 months that are based solely on the lunar-based Jewish year, which is typically 354.37 days. And we add these leap months or leap years to align it with the 365 days of the solar year. Why are we doing this? Why do we have to line up both these calendars? As you can see, the lunar-based calendar, which is the Jewish year, is based on the lunar, on the moon. It is shorter by approximately 11 days shorter than the longer solar year. What are we concerned with? We're concerned that we want to make sure to keep the calendars aligned in order for the festivals to retain their positions in the right seasons. So, for example, Passover, Torah is very clear that Passover must always fall out in the spring season. So if you now followed a strictly lunar calendar, each year you would fall back 11 days, another 11 days, that's already 22, 3, you go back. What would happen? Passover would be in the middle of the winter or another time of the year. For example, in the Muslim calendar, it is strictly based on the movement of the moon. And their holidays, like Ramadan, for example, can be found any time of the year. But the Torah tells us that we must always celebrate Passover in the spring season. But if you're following the lunar calendar, we're losing times. We're falling backwards. Therefore, during these 19 years cycle, we add these leap years to move up, to catch up, so to speak, because we want to keep both calendars aligned. What month is added? The month of Adar. Preceding Passover is the month of Adar. So that month is doubled. The added month is Adar. So tomorrow night, we began Adar 1. And that's inserted before the month of Adar, which would be Adar 2 in this leap year. What is so special about the month of Adar that should make us so excited coming out of the Super Bowl? You see, The Adar is the official happy month. As it is written, Mishenichnes Adar, Marbim Besimcha. When the month of Adar arrives, begins, we increase in joy. And in this leap year, we have 2 months of extra happiness. That explains why the festival of Purim, which is celebrated in Adar, on Adar 14, is in this second month of Adar. And that will be on Wednesday evening, March 20th, into Thursday, March 21st. While the 14th day of the month of Adar 1, the first month of these 2 leap months, we have what is known as Purim Katan, a minor Purim. So I want to share with you the significance of these 2 months of Adar that we begin tomorrow evening, not just just for the information, but how it impacts our life as well. You see, there are 2 ways in which the Jewish calendar and the nature of time, Jewish time, can be understood. We have what is known as the special days approach, right? In the annual cycle that consists of hundreds of days, most of them are ordinary run-of-the-mill, right? Regular days. But thankfully, the regular days in our calendar are punctuated by a number of special days, festival, holy days, imbued with special spiritual qualities. So we trudge through those ordinary days, inspired and encouraged by the fact, very shortly, a few days away or a few weeks away, we're going to have Passover, we're going to have Purim, we have Lag Bomo, we have New Year for Trees. So there are special days within the ongoing trudge of ordinary time. So that's one way, special days within the year. Then there's another way of looking at the Jewish calendar. It's called the quality, not just of a day, but of a month. Because Jewish time is comprised not of days, but of months as well. And each month has a distinct spiritual essence. The special days of the year are simple days on which a particular month's quality becomes more pronounced and actualized. So, for example, the month of Nisan is known as the month of liberation, while Passover is a week-long period in that month that has a freedom quality. That freedom quality becomes more accessible during that month. For example, Sivan, the month where the Torah was given at Mount Sinai, is a month of wisdom. The month of Shavat that we're in right now is a month of growth and fruitfulness, and we have the New Year for trees. Elul is a month of compassion. So each month has days in which the month's quality rises to the surface and manifests itself more than the month's ordinary days. But these are differences of expression rather than the essence, because essentially each day of the month equally possesses these spiritual properties. That is why many of the festivals and special dates of the Jewish calendar occur on the 15th day of the month. Why? Because the 15th, is the night of a full moon, representing a point in which the month's essence is most revealed. To here comes the good news. We're about to go into a month of Adar. Adar is different. It's a month of transformation. Adar transforms sorrow into joy, doubt into super knowledge, oblivion into exuberance, into a great passion of life. Historically, Adar transformed a scattered people into a unified nation. We'll talk about the holiday of Purim. We were at a moment of national weakness, and suddenly this turned in, after Haman's decree and everything that happened in the story of Purim, into a great statement of commitment of all time. Adar transforms the most physical of activities, eating and drinking, into an affirmation of our bond with the Almighty God. So while 2 days in Adar, the 14th and 15th of the month, are observed as Purim, they represent the apex of an entire month that is filled with transformation and transformative joy. So here is the inspiring Hasidic thought I want to share with you today that should make us excited. You see, a month on the Jewish calendar includes 29 or 30 days. But every 2 or 3 years, 7 times in a 19-year cycle to be exact, Adar doubles in size during a Jewish leap year. And each month has 30 days. which means these 2 months that we're about to begin on the Jewish calendar have 60 days. And the Lubavitch Rebbe points out that number 60 is extremely important because they represent the power of transformation. The rule of the thumb in Torah law is that something becomes batel b'shishim, which translates nullified by 60. For example, if a piece of non-kosher food accidentally falls into a pot of kosher food, the undesirable element is nullified, is batel, if the desirable amount, the kosher, is 60 times greater than it. So the Rebbe helps us to appreciate. In a year blessed that this year, a double 60-day Adar, means all undesirable elements, every and any cause for pain, sadness, discouragement, or dejection, become nullified and sublimated by the transformation of the joy of the month of Adar. What a great way to come out of the you could say, the Super Bowl and come right into transformative joy, 60 days of joy. So, dear friends, it's such a serious matter. Why did the rabbi cross the road? Because the chicken needed a day off. Why did the chicken and the rabbi cross the road halfway? Because they wanted to lay it on the line. Listen, dear friends, don't complain. You're getting what you paid for. So, my friends, as we come to the conclusion of our program today, I know that I read that out in Hauppauge, there's actually a sober Super Bowl party taking place, where people are going through recovery from alcohol and drug abuse. They want to avoid all the challenges and temptations of a game, sometimes sadly associated with alcohol. So, with that in mind, I want to share with you that at our Chabad of Mineola, in Mineola, Chabad of Mineola, on Willis Avenue, on the February the 20th, on the Sunday, we are hosting the JAX, a JAX Day. JAX stands for Jewish people who are going through recovery and other kinds of situations. And I'm inviting everyone, please, if you know anyone who can have benefit from coming together for this very gathering of friends and family for a winter spiritual day of recovery and connection. It's a special spiritual day that includes camaraderie and to discover new tools to help those going through recovery. It's free for all, only if you pre-register. Otherwise, it's $10 at the door. And you can register for this day. If you know anyone, please pass the information on. Please call us at 516-739-3636. We'll be happy to take information and pass it on to the JAX organization who are organizing this, and we are the hosts. I look forward to addressing those who are joining us on the Torah's view on recovery and many, many aspects of that. But again, please, I know that everyone looks forward to the Super Bowl party. Please remember those who are facing recovery. Be careful and know that Super Bowl reminds us that the teams represent, life. Life is, many sports are played with you could say, with teams. And we must be careful to work as a team and remind ourselves we're on this world for a purpose, a mission. Our mission is brings us together, and all of us add to what makes this world. Really, we're on, so to speak, the world is God's world, and our job is to guard it and to make sure it stays healthy and well in so many different ways. This is your host, Rabbi Pearl. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you to Stephen Howard, Mark, and to everybody joining us. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy the game. But remember, tomorrow we go into the great 60 days of joy. May we all be blessed with happiness and good health. Thank you so much.